2004. I got to leave those areas. Those people didn't get to leave. Maybe as a refugee, but you know, you have a population of Iraq with 25 million people. The 1.3 million Iraqis that have been killed since the invasion in 2003. You have millions being displaced as refugees to Syria and Lebanon, and those countries are full to the max of the amount they could sustain taking in. You have economy destroyed, a non-existent economy in Afghanistan, unless you consider all the opium that's being grown there for CIA's drug operation, and I'll get to that in a moment. It's just really disgusting. And it's really disgusting that our political establishment isn't enlightened enough to know that we all are one and we all have to coexist peacefully. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, just really appreciate the peace that you're able to wake up to. You don't have to wake up to gunfire while your little kid is running around in a schoolyard. You don't have to drive down the road wondering, hey, am I going to get caught in the crossfire today? Or as a woman sitting at home preparing a meal for her family, wondering if her husband's going to make it home okay. 9 times out of 10, most civilian casualties occur because of the context of the war. It's happening on the streets, everywhere. It's wide scale. And there's no salvation for these people. So therefore, that's just, for me, it doesn't take a whole lot of sense to figure that it's a political solution we're dealing with, not a military one. So many times I've witnessed and been a part of civilians in the crossfire, whether there's an insurgent group here and we're protecting the compound of the new mayor of Fallujah and a firefight breaks out. So many times, I couldn't tell you how many times I heard over the radio, oh, we got 2 civilian casualties. Oh, we got 2 more. Oh, we got 2 more here. Oh, we got 2 more there. Out of the dozens and dozens of patrols and missions, hearing that every day and then seeing wounded and killed American casualties. It's like, for what? What are we doing this for? It's really, it makes me wonder, it's like a sick game for some of these elite people that don't go to war. They send the poor to war and they get rich. But I think their game's coming to an end. And when I was at the WeAreCHANGE investigation, a Vietnam veteran gave me this poem from George Mizo, who was a 7-year veteran of the United States Army, including 2 years in Vietnam. He was awarded the Gallantry Cross of the Republic of Vietnam and the Purple Heart. He was also sickened by the destruction he saw in Vietnam and the deception which he thought our government engaged in. He was involved in trying to stop the escalation of violence in Central America, and he died in 2002. But I leave you with this really great, insightful poem that made me question my consciousness to go over there, fly for 7 hours on a military aircraft and contemplate how we were going to survive and kill people to survive. You, my church, told me it was wrong to kill, except in war. You, my teachers, told me it was wrong to kill, except in war. You, my father and mother, told me it was wrong to kill, except in war. You, my friends, told me it was wrong to kill, except in war. You, my government, told me it was wrong to kill, except in war. You sent me to war to kill, and when I had no choice, you told me I was wrong. But now I know you were wrong, and now I will tell you, my teacher, my church, my father and mother, my friends, my government, it is not wrong to kill except in war. It is wrong to kill, period. And this you have to learn, just as I did. And that is so true. And we're right here learning about it without having to do it. And that's a great thing about being human, being able to communicate in such great capacities, to sit down and reason and think about things. And that's what brought me to being anti-war. The nights I spent with my friend Richard, sharing war stories, the times I spend with my family. My two older sisters have been very supportive, and my father as well. Just having those ears to listen to. And I realized the healing powers of having those ears to listen to your story. You know, we have a lot of veterans that don't have those outlets. I remember in my basic training graduation dinner, my family came and visited me, and there was a table behind us that had all the troops there that didn't have a family visiting them on their graduation from basic training. And I just remember how humble I felt sitting there with my family and just enjoying those little moments like that before I was taken away by the drill sergeants and locked away for the night. But, you know, a lot of military people don't have families. That's some of the reasons why people join. And it's no surprise to me that over 1/3 of our homeless in this country are veterans that served our nation. So you see a homeless person on the street, they probably were serving their country and decided it was their best interest to get out and had no family, no support network, no one to tell them, oh yeah, go to the vet center and get help. They didn't have someone there, because the Army sure as hell never says that. They say, oh, you got any medical problems, any psychological problems? You're like, no, because I just want to get out at a certain point. I wanted to get out. I contemplated staying in. I had a friend that's probably career. I have lost contact, but recently I've been trying to get in contact with people I served with. And that's just another thing, you know. Not having that access to care, not having that support network. And I just wonder here, being in the state with the highest veteran population in the Union, how many veterans are out there couch surfing from one friend's house to another, or on the street picking through the garbage? How many of them are out there where we're supporting our nation that supports the troops so much? How many of them are out there? I wonder. And nevertheless, I'm just very grateful I've had that support network. And that also allows you to start asking questions. But even before then, while sitting down at a Thanksgiving meal after being out in the field for a few months from post, when I was telling you about my experience there with the prisoner in Afghanistan, we got to make it back to Kandahar Air Base. It was a large air base that had all the logistics and supplies, and we went there, and it was right around Thanksgiving. For Thanksgiving dinner, the battalion commander, the infantry battalion commander, sent down a message saying, hey, send your best troops to go eat dinner with all the high brass and high non-commissioned officers like the sergeant majors and stuff. And we had a special guest that came. It was General Shinseki, the Department of the Army's Joint Chief during that time. Now he's the Department of Veterans Affairs Secretary. And we sat down, and I was about from here to that table to him, and I was sitting around a few other high-ranking people within the 82nd Airborne Division. And I remember hearing him as he addressed all the troops that were there, and he was reflecting a story about his experience recently at that time, talking with a Russian general, and they were talking and critiquing all these military things, like the Russians always had the better tanks and the better machine guns, but the Russian general, to paraphrase what General Shinseki said, but there's one thing that the United States military has better, that it's always had, that makes their military more superior to ours, is your soldiers ask questions. And that stuck into my mind. And those questions, like my comrade Christopher Anderson, who was with me at that dinner, we had questions too when we went to Iraq. Like I was saying, we were like, where are the weapons of mass destruction? And those questions, those simple little questions of why, opens up so many other questions. And so I continue to question, and I hope all of you will continue to question and bring these questions to where they need to be heard.